There are no gains without pains. Benjamin Franklin, I'm sure that is from Poor Richard's Almanac. And Dr. Franklin was always full of good advice as well as good food. Now, let's jump into these charts. A fascinating week. The market ended up as far as stocks go for the day with ding, 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 a weekly vertical crossover on the S&P 500. So we shall move it as much, even with the worst job report ever. Doesn't seem to matter. We're going to go ahead and mark it down as happening. What does next week hold? No idea. But what I can tell you when we get to the Qs is it's been a stellar week for everyone who followed the weekly vertical crossover last week and is still in that practice trade. Gosh, up what? 5, 6, 7%. Anyway, beautiful. Now, let's talk about, though, where we are on the S&P 500. Yes, we have a weekly vertical crossover. Yes, the derivative oscillator crossed over at the same time. That is a great sign for continued strong up movement. Now, let's go to the 2-day. What does it show us? Derivative oscillator still losing momentum. We see the prior high at 292.88 back on the 2-day candle ending the 29th. And of course, this latest is the first day of the latest 2-day candle, 292.95. 292.95 versus 294.88. So we've reached a higher high. Derivative oscillator, like we said, is losing momentum. Price percent oscillator is heading up. It's continuing to steadily pull away from the 200-period moving average line. And I'm trying to see if that moving average line is pulling away also. Not a little bit. Yeah, so it's a combination of both. So what we will do is we'll head on to the 4-hour chart. What does it show us? Up in the morning, further up in the afternoon, ended with stellar gains. And we'll see if the weekend effect, or what we call the Monday effect, is working for us. If you guys hadn't taken that training, you should have. We'll be putting it out again. And also, alert, we will be putting out the 3-part options training for those of you who have not taken it. It will be going out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this next week. You need to subscribe at chartingwealth.com to our daily reviews. It'll be in your show notes for next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. If you don't subscribe over the weekend, you're going to miss part 1. If you don't subscribe by Monday, you're going to miss part 2. And then by Tuesday, part 3. So don't miss any of them. Subscribe right now. Go to chartingwealth.com. Sign up for free. Just put your name and your email address in there. We never share or spam that list ever. Now, we have a special training for all subscribers right now. Dollar cost averaging, problems, and our solution. This had been marked under private, so you couldn't see it for the last few months. I have unmarked it from that. Put it in your show notes. It is for you, everyone who subscribes. I think you'll like it. And I did all that before the crash. So again, gives you a lot of good advice. Now we're going to go back to the weekly chart. Go on to the Qs, the NASDAQ 100. Check it out. We had, again, I'm using the Heiken Ashi numbers, so somewhere around 115.04 was right there at the close of the market last week. How high did we go? 225, from 115.04 to 225 as the high. Is that not $10 in 1 week? That's pretty sweet, quite sweet. So again, very happy with that. Now, price percent oscillator continuing to go up. Derivative oscillator is positive now. It wasn't at the time. We like to see, typically for the stronger, more sustained moves, we like to see the derivative oscillator and the price percent oscillator cross at the same time. When it happens soon after, that's good too. When it doesn't happen and the derivative oscillator still stays negative on an up move, it makes us just a little leery, like it has been looking in gold. Anyway, higher high this week. Nice candle above the weekly trend line. Let's go to the 2-day and see what we see there. We see this first day of this latest 2-day candle hitting a higher high. That is quite good to see. Derivative oscillator positive, but losing energy. Price percent oscillator heading up nicely. Go to the 4-hour chart. What do we see there? Moving up in the morning, a little further up in the afternoon. looking nice. Does it make sense? No, no, none of the market makes any sense at all. That's why we're staying liquid and we're ready to pull out any practice trades that we have when things go against us. That's the beauty of the ETFs we follow. They're very liquid, and when things don't work, you pull the trade. You take a minimum loss and you get the hell out. Do you hear me? Get the hell out. Please make sure you're using your profit and loss bands. If you've not taken that training, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it at the end of today's video. Profit and loss bands. I usually make that a special one. I'm going to make it special. It's going to be at the end of the video today. I want you to take that so you understand the secret of profit and loss bands to help you visually see when your trade has failed and you pull the damn plug and get out. Okay, that is where we are on the NASDAQ 100. Next, we go to TLT, 20-year bonds. It was down for the day 1.26%, but did not make a weekly vertical crossover. Close, but no cigar. Derivative oscillator went negative, but we don't have it. So again, I would like that to be negative too. It'd make me feel better about those weekly vertical crossovers first in the S&P 500 and continuing in the NASDAQ 100. The two-day chart, first day of the latest two-day candle, not reaching a lower low. That might be part of the problem. We didn't have that weekly vertical crossover going down, derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum, price percent oscillator heading down. 4-hour chart, it's heading down, really sideways slide in the morning and then down in the afternoon, just not enough energy yet. So that is where we are on bonds. We're going to leave bonds, go to gold. Gold, we have just been hoping gold was going to fly. Gold has just slid sideways. We had a great potential for practice trades on the positive for the weekly vertical crossover. That first week was stellar. Second week, okay. Now it's just sliding sideways, tending down, indecision, tending down with that red open box spinning top. Price percent oscillator still heading up. Derivative oscillators green, but weakening. Look at the two-day chart. It has, we'll wait and see on Monday when the market closes if this is if this is going to sustain a crossover going down, which would take us out of any up trade in gold. Why? Guess what we were looking for? We were hoping for what we saw today, and that is the crossover in the morning, but then down in the afternoon, and as close as that two-day is with it, is this not bizarre? You just don't see this a lot. Two-day crosses over going down, while the 4-hour that stayed down forever is finally trying to cross over going up. Let's see what Monday shows us on gold. We'll figure that out when we get there. Bizarre. We'll pay attention, watch what happens there. It would be great to see gold booming. Probably mean, though, that stocks were getting hammered. We'll see. That's where we are as we end the week on our 4 major charts. Now, I still have Bitcoin, real estate, and oil and things to share with you there. Good news in all 3 of those. If you are only interested in those initial 4 ETFs, you're done for the week. God bless you. Hope you filled out your weekly market worksheet. Hope you made use of all the trainings we put at the end of yesterday's video on the weekly market worksheet, daily market worksheet, and trade worksheet. If not, go to the video from yesterday. That is Friday's video, and check it out. You'll see at the end where everything pops up. You can buy the book if you haven't purchased the book, and we sold a lot of books this week. Thank you so much for all of the purchases of Charting Your Way to Wealth. If you don't have the book, you need it. Go to chartingwealth.com. Or just look in the link in any of your show notes, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's iTunes, or whether it is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you might be, or your video that you get every day, our daily training. You'll see the link. Thank you so much, my friends. Appreciate all the Patreon supporters. Moving on. What did Bitcoin do? Wow. Look at the week with the crossover going up, hammering up. Bitcoin up big, even for Friday up 4.91%. Our biggest gainer, no, not as big. Well, yes, a little bit, 0.02% more than oil. But what we see is, of course, this weekly vertical crossover hammering up. Two-day chart hammering up. I mean, do I have to say more? 4-hour chart. Again, moving away from the red signal line. Look at it go. Bitcoin had popped up, leveled off for a few days, and then starting in the afternoon on Wednesday the 6th, up, Thursday and Friday. Bitcoin looking quite beautiful. Now again, watching that weekly chart, look how much Bitcoin has gained, $9,391.07. When it started its precipitous drop, it was at $10,323.26. Pretty nice, isn't it? Bitcoin is gathering it all back in. How high will it go? Don't know. But is this chart not beautiful? It is beautiful. Does it work for Bitcoin? Well, you can look, my friends. You can look and see what that weekly chart tells you. So that's where we are. And also, don't forget just the weekly. Check out the 2-day. Check out the 2-day. Again, does it get you out at the very top when things start rolling over? No. Does it get you in at the very bottom? Well, sort of did. But again, our bigger chart, they don't. Never say they do. All we're trying, well, it did pretty well there. It did not so good there. I mean, it did okay with that drop. But again, you would have been looking at a lot of other things, not simply... We don't get out on the weekly. Remember, we get in on the weekly onto down moves and such, like we would have here. You get out on typically your 2-day chart. We have lots of great training about that in our book. But again, this weekly chart works over and over and over to save you. That's where we are as far as Bitcoin goes. Now, let's go to real estate. What do we see there? Real estate up for the day, 2.40%. Ended the week with a red spinning top. Derivative oscillator still negative. Price percent oscillator. It's going to take some more up movement. All we're seeing is really sideways sliding before that price percent oscillator rotates over going up. Go to the 2-day chart. That's where you see all that sideways slide. It is continuing to move up, but look, the derivative oscillator, first day of this latest 2-day candle going negative. We'll just watch and see. It's going to have to be more up moves, not sideways sliding to get that weekly chart over. Looks like at the end of the day, the 4 hours rotated over going up. That's good to see. Going to have more gains on real estate to find that bottom and move away from it. I think it's going to find a much, much lower low. We'll wait and see. What do we see going on with gold? Up 4.89%. Check it out. We ended the week with and again, this is a solid green down candle. Means a slowdown in the down movement. Derivative oscillator still negative. Look at that price percent oscillator though. Still hammering down on the weekly. 2-day, getting closer to trying to cross over. It tried before. We'll see if it can cross over at some point going up. Again, first day of the latest 2-day candle. We look at the 4-hour chart. And of course, it crossed over back on the morning of the 30th of April. Didn't really do a lot, slid sideways, popped up a little bit on the 5th and stayed about that same area. So we'll continue to watch and see where oil is going to go. Folks, that's where we are as we end the week. Thank you again so much for being with us. Remember the alert, weekly vertical crossover going up on the S&P 500. Last week's weekly vertical crossover, highly successful, and continues on the Qs. Keep your eye on the prize. These markets start turning down. Don't, with this kind of volatility, stay in there and get screwed. So be careful. God bless, my friends. All the best. Thanks so much for all your hard work, practice trading. Remember, we're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.